Parent Information Center of New Hampshire and New Hampshire Family Voices with the YAC Council present the YAC Council podcast. The YAC Council stands for Youth for Education, Advocacy, and Healthcare. We're so excited you're joining us today. Welcome to our series on hiring support staff. In this series, we discuss how support staff can make a difference in a youth's life, the interviewing and hiring process. We have an episode called What Now, which discusses backup plans, and tips and tricks to keep the ball rolling. Welcome to episode 1, called The Basics, where we talk about who are support staff. Let's get started. Hi, my name is Ansley Peacock. I am the Transition Initiatives Coordinator for New Hampshire Family Voices and the Parent Information Center. I am here today with two rock star members of the YAC Council. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I am Abby, and I will be talking about what a DSP is and what it meant in my life.
Hello, everyone. I'm Keegan Watson, and I will be talking to you today about PCA services, and I look forward to chatting with you all throughout this series of podcasts.
So I forgot to say that both Keegan and Abby are college students. Abby is starting her journey in college, and Keegan is getting his master's degree. So Abby, I understand that you've had a DSP or direct support professional in your life. What does that mean to you, or how would you describe it?
I would describe a DSP as someone who is being an extra frontal lobe for the youth who needs someone to help them figure out and talk through situations, as well as be a person who the youth feels extremely comfortable, safe, and is able to be their full personality with. The DSP can also be someone who is either in college or a few years older than the youth, as this helps them connect and bond.
That is awesome. I love the term like an extra frontal lobe for people who might need support being on track or time management. I'll throw in there that a DSP can be any age, but I think that for you, you've said that having one who was younger really helped you feel at ease.
Right.
Yep. So how did the process begin for you and your family?
Well, New Hampshire Family Voices and PIC have always been in my life, and I've always been attending my New Hampshire IEP meetings, and I knew about the program, plus my transition coordinator at my area agency suggested the DSP program.
That's awesome. It sounds like you've had a lot of good network of support to help you find out about options that are out there.
Right.
How did you feel when it was first suggested?
Not that great. I wanted to be Miss Independent, who had just graduated high school. COVID had just started to die down, and I wanted the freedom, and I thought that this would hinder it and help it.
I think that is super common, and comes up all the time with youth when or people in general when you have an option to get more support. Thank you for being so honest about that. What helped you come around or helped you feel more at ease?
The interviewing process with Shannon, and meeting Shannon, she clicked right away with me and my family.
So what helped you get to know her, or how did you guys break the ice?
We broke the ice actually during the interview, and we asked a few questions about her during the interview. Plus, me and her spent some time getting to know each other the next few days. We listened to music going to my different appointments.
That's awesome. What kind of music?
Country music in Hannah, Montana.
That is fantastic. So once you broke the ice and you guys had gotten to know each other a little bit, how did she support you? What did you two do?
She was my transportation, and she also helped me. She took notes for me in OT. So I remembered what I actually talked about with my OT. we did a lot together. We organized my rooms. We did a ton of household chores. She made tools for the things we did. She was there in very tough times for social and emotional support.
That's awesome. You mentioned tools. What kind of tools did she help you make, or like what did they help with?
She made daily tasks, daily routine lists, and tables that I could use to make sure that I did all my things on the routines that I needed to.
Oh, so like routine charts and things that
Yeah,
helped you stay on task? I think that you told me she helped you learn how to cook too.
cook, yeah.
See, that's awesome. You know more at your age than I did when I was your age, as far as like staying on task and knowing some cooking. So, her role in your life and the support that she gave, when we talk about your first reaction to hearing about getting a DSP and having it be worried about having less independence, did Shannon give you less independence or did her role give you more?
It actually gave me a lot more.
That's awesome. So, Shannon working one on one with you as your direct support professional, she and you came up with things that work for you. If she was someone else's DSP, do you think that they'd be doing the exact same things the exact same ways?
No, because different people, even with the same diagnoses or chronic conditions, are going to need different tools and versions of the tools.
And it's so true. Like, just because something works for some person, even with the quote unquote same thing, doesn't mean it's going to work for the next person. And that's a really good thing for families to know about DSPs or any healthcare provider, is that they, make the tools work for the person that they're working with. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
She gave me independence, which also gave my family back independence since I had a support person.
That's awesome. And were you able to do more in your life more smoothly, like anything with your education?
Yes, she was my transportation home from my classes when
Awesome.
she was working. Um, yeah,
Well, it sounds like having her in your life was a really good boost to your independence and, going through that transition of, youth to more young adult. Thank you so much for telling us about that relationship.
you're welcome.
All right. So that is a basic overview of how a DSP can show up in someone's life. Now we're going to go over to Keegan, who is going to describe PCA services or personal care attendant services and other avenues to achieve independence in New Hampshire. Take it away, Keegan.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, thank you to Abby. That was a very powerful experience and story to share. So mine with a PCA, that's a little different, but still very powerful. PCA services are provided by GSIL, which stands for Granite State Independent Living. They're the only independent living center in the state of New Hampshire. 52% of their board members have some sort of physical or mental disability, and they provide other services that help people achieve their maximum independent life. So they have a PCSP program for community-based Medicaid under the CFI waiver. You have the PCA program, which is a medical model where they can meet you at your home or school or whatever and provide you assistance for activities of daily living. But they also have other services too, like Impact Academy and benefits analysis. So how I started with the PCA program is you don't have to have a doctor's referral. I think it was my area agency or special medical services. After that, I got hooked up with my LTS coordinator. I met with her the first time. She described the program as I'm kind of describing it to you now, and then gave me a book of things to read in which they described co-employer and what consumer direction is. So consumer direction is you, the person who consumes services, so in this scenario would be me, Keegan, gets to determine who, what, when, where, why, as long as we fall within state and federal regulations. Do not worry, we will discuss those a little bit later on in another video. I'm not going to bog you too much with that. Services are highly individualized as long as they fall within the medical model. So the things that a PCA cannot do, they can't do community-based activities, but they can do dressing, bathing, whatever you really need that would help you live your life independently, home, school, one particular environment, wherever. What made me choose this program is at the time I needed help, and the services that were most likely going to take my case were full and were not accepting clients. And the other thing about this program, which is really nice, is it's people helping people, which also means, especially because I used it in the college environment, if you had a nurse come in from a nursing agency like Lakes on a PVNA, they will tell you, I'm coming in the morning and we're going to do X, Y, Z. Well, with the PCA program, you don't have to deal with that. You can say, I need somebody at X time for X amount of hours to do X things, as long as they fall under billable tasks. So for me, that's why I chose the PCA program, because I needed help immediately, because I knew I was going to college and didn't want to take a gap year or whatever else. So with GSIL, what ends up happening is they don't really they don't say they're full, and they don't really refuse clients. For this program, as long as you are wheelchair dependent and qualify for Medicaid and are 18 years of older and can cognitively run your own program, because that's what's consumer directed, I get to choose. You qualify for this program, and you'll talk with your LTS coordinator, who I will also in subsequent videos refer to as my supervisor. That will become clear later. You'll sit down with her. She'll describe the program to you, and then you'll hear this concept of co-employer, which means GSIL agrees with you as the consumer that we're going to keep the employee that works with you safe at all times as much as possible. All right, Ainsley, I think that about wraps it up for me. Thank you very much.
Keegan, that is awesome. You are a wealth of information, and the details are so involved. I had no idea about the co-employment model or all of the aspects that go into finding staff. So we're going to talk more about the interviewing process in our next episode. Thank you both so much for helping me learn more about this. I've heard bits and pieces about DSPs and PCAs on my path, but I didn't know the details, and I didn't know how each one in their own role could help youth or young adults become more independent in their communities, homes, and education. So thank you to all of our listeners. We look forward to meeting you on the next podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to look for our next episode on the interviewing and hiring process coming out soon. Our music can be found on Pixabay. The recording artist is called Bo Gleason, and the track is called Picture the Sky. Special thanks once again to the Parent Information Center and New Hampshire Family Voices for their continued support of the YA Council, the advocacy and hard work being done by the youth there, and this podcast series. See you next time.